Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to Cracking the Creativity Code, session number 4. In this session, we ask you to do a self-test of your discovery and your delivery skills. Recall that we said part of creativity is a journey inward, discovering who you really are, becoming yourself as part of the process to generate wonderful, world-changing new ideas. So in this session, we're going to ask you to go to the website and measure, test your discovery skills and your delivery skills. The reason for this is that if you're really, really good at discovering new ideas and less interested in making them happen, delivery, then you need to find partners who are really good at the delivery part. If you're really good at making things happen, managing things, delivery, you need to find creative people who have really good skills at discovery. And we need to balance those two things. And again, we recall Da Vinci, who had all those great ideas, but very little success with delivery. By the way, that was partly purposeful. Da Vinci was employed by Medici princes of the Italian city-states, who were always fighting each other. And they wanted to invent terrible new weapons. And frankly, Da Vinci wasn't really interested in killing people. So he invented the weapons, but he was very reluctant to actually build them, and very few of them were actually built. So he wasn't keen on the delivery part on purpose. But all of us who want to make things happen, creativity is making something happen, we need to have both discovery and delivery. So let me share with you this brief discovery and delivery quiz. It comes from a book by Dyer, Gregerson, and Christensen called The Innovator's Dilemma. And there are 20 questions. We're asking you to read each of these 20 items and to score yourself honestly and carefully. And we want you to score each item on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 is I strongly disagree, and 5 is I strongly agree, and 3 is in between, 4 is somewhat agree, 2 is somewhat disagree. Here are the first 5, the next 7, and the last 8, 20 items in all. These are all uploaded to the website. We ask you to carefully, no time limit here, take your time, think about this, think about yourself. For example, I consistently create detailed plans to get work done. Do you strongly agree? Do you strongly disagree? Is that a 1? Is it a 3? Is it a 5? Write down a score for each item. Go to the website and do this. And then the website will show you how to score your delivery and your discovery skills and passion. Now, this doesn't mean that you're frozen into doing delivery if you score high on it. It simply means that you need to work on your discovery skills, or vice versa if you score low on delivery. So we can learn new skills. These are not frozen in concrete, but it always begins with self-assessment. At present, what am I really good at? What do I need to improve at? And what do I need to do to become more balanced? It's quite unusual, by the way, for someone to score really high on discovery and really high on delivery. My colleague and co-author and former student Arya Rudenberg wrote the book with me. He's very good at both, and that partly explains some of his success in building a great advertising agency. But it's almost as if he has 2 personalities, 2 jackets that he puts on. The idea jacket, and then we toss ideas around, wild ideas. And then another jacket, and that is, okay, feet on the ground, let's see which of these can we really implement, which of them can be done in a most practical and efficient manner. And those are 2 very different mindsets. Which are you good at? Test yourself, go to the website, and see what you score on discovery and on delivery. I'd like to tell you a story, a brief story, before we sum up this discussion of discovery and delivery. This is a story about a mathematician, actually two mathematicians. The first mathematician was named Pierre Fermat, and he was French, and he lived around the 17th century. And he formulated his conjecture, scribbling in the margins of a book, in 1637. You can see it on your screen. A to the n plus b to the n equals c to the n. Fermat said, I have discovered a brilliant idea, a brilliant proof. You cannot find whole numbers, a, b, and c, that will satisfy this equation for any value of n bigger than 2. We know there are values for a squared plus b squared equals c squared, 3, 4, and 5, for example. But for values bigger than that, no such integers exist. Mathematicians for years tried to prove what Fermat conjectured. They didn't succeed until a young man, a British mathematician teaching at Princeton, came along and developed a proof. His name was Andrew Wiles, and he was knighted. He is Sir Andrew Wiles for his achievement. Now, the point here is that he had a brilliant insight, a brilliant discovery, and then he had to sit down in his study, and he worked on this for 6 years to work out the details of the proof. And he worked very, very hard, and he brought this to the world on Monday 19th of September 1994, the most important moment of his working life. Actually, earlier he did this in June in 1993 at Cambridge in England, and other mathematicians read his proof, and after he had worked for 6 years, they discovered a mistake. There was a mistake in his proof. You can imagine how crushing that might be, working on a really hard problem. Nobody had solved it for 358 years, and you discover a solution, you discover a proof, and then it has a mistake. What do? Well, you can give up, or you can implement delivery. You can go back to your study and work for another whole year, which he did, until he found a creative way to solve the problem and actually correct the proof. And he calls it indescribably beautiful, so simple and so elegant. But it took him a year, and the proof itself is 150 pages and far too complicated for me to explain it. This, I think, is discovery and delivery. Genius, insight, eureka, brilliant creative solution, and then really, really hard work for a total of 7 years, so that Wiles could prove the theorem that Fermat conjectured. It didn't show us how to prove it 358 years ago. This ends session number 4. In session number 5, we'll go on to talk a bit about some examples of zoom in, zoom out.